Hello, and welcome back to another video of my vlogs. This vlog will be about my trip to Bangladesh during this summer. In this video, I put a lot of clips that I found to be interesting for this project, so I sped them up to prevent having my video duration be 10 minutes. But if you want to see some clips longer, I recommend you use the playback speed to slow it down. While this video is playing, I'll be talking about what my family and I did during this vacation. Around the middle of July, my family and I came to Bangladesh to explore, do shopping, and visit my relatives and cousins from the village. When we arrived home, we got tired afterwards due to staying in the airplane for many hours. To be honest, I don't like sitting in the airplane for around 10 hours and eating food inside because it tastes so horrible, unlike foods that I've mostly eaten. The only good thing is that I was able to watch movies, so that I don't have to waste time doing nothing until I get tired. This is the fourth time I visited Bangladesh since 2012, 2018, and 2021. A few days later, after our arrival, there was a protest going on in Dhaka. If I remember correctly, it was because the government made a controversial quota system that angered a lot of students to protest against it. However, this results in many students being killed by the police. So the students had to fight against their government for their country's freedom to end dictatorship. As the protest continues, the government has shut down the internet for almost 2 weeks. Not only the internet, but also limiting time outside by setting up curfews. It wasn't fun. I was useless without the internet because I can't do video game development without watching tutorial videos about Godot. Godot is a game engine I use to develop my games. My first game will be a 2D running game, which is a long but simple start as a new developer. Anyways, during the shutdown, in order to avoid wasting time, I played video games and I spent time talking with my family. These activities will reduce my boredom while we were staying in our home for many days. After a week, the internet was restored. I was kind of happy that I could watch videos again. However, the internet is slow, making the video quality in low resolution. The situation hasn't ended yet as the protest continues. After the internet was restored, we were able to go outside despite the curfew limitations. We visited cities and villages, and we did some shopping. It feels refreshing to go and enjoy the outdoors, especially seeing new places like Gulshan. However, due to curfew, almost every store and building closes either at 5 or 6 o'clock. It was disappointing that I can't stay outside longer due to the government setting these limitations. This made our first week in Bangladesh rough. In the first week of August, my family and I visited my village where my father's parents lived. As I entered inside, I met my cousins, relatives, and my grandmother. It was refreshing to see them again after years passed. What I did with my cousins was I talked with them and watched TV, such as movies, cartoons, and the Olympics game 2024 a little bit. With my relatives, I did talk with some of them, but not all of them speak English, including my grandmother. This is because I haven't studied the Bangla language, which I should have had before arriving in this country. If I learned Bangla, then my communications with them would have been easier. While staying in the village, I didn't go outside that much because the weather was bad, making the pathway to the road difficult. I strongly disliked coming from the road to the village when I first arrived because there was a disgusting smell from the ground. Too many puddles which made my shoes dirty, including a little bit on my clothes, and the ground was hard to pass by since there were obstacles where I could accidentally fall down and get my clothes and body dirty. It wasn't like a normal road, as there were some lakes close by, or there wasn't enough ground. As days passed by, there was news where the Bangladeshi Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, had fled the country. It was a big win for the protesters who have been fighting for freedom, and for my family, as they reacted happily while watching the news. This means there will be no more curfews and no dictatorship. As Bangladesh reforms as an independent country, this marks a new history for Bangladesh in the 21st century. After the day when the former Prime Minister fled the country, we came back to Dhaka. While staying inside, I continued with video game development and watched TV. At Dhaka, we go outdoors again, but without curfew limitations. I was happy that we can stay outside longer than 5 or 6 o'clock, which makes it enjoyable, except traffic. While we were outside, I noticed that there were people drawing art on walls that relate to the former PM fleeing the country. I believe this is their response after they achieved their freedom. Also, there were younger people on the road controlling traffic. I don't know how it relates to the freedom of Bangladesh, but my guess is that they are trying to improve traffic despite having no red light and green light. Many days later, my family and I came to Sylhet to stay in a 5-star hotel, Grand Sultan, for 3 days. When I first saw the hotel, it felt unusual to me because this luxurious hotel was built close to the villages and the forest, where they are not rich. There were also some hotels close to Grand Sultan as we entered the forest. Besides the resort, we saw the beautiful nature, where there is more grass and trees. It feels like I had a different experience than staying in Dhaka in the village, as this was the first time we visited Sylhet. There were also some cities close to Sylhet, which some are rich or look somehow similar to the buildings and stores in Dhaka. After 3 days, we came back to Dhaka and stayed until our departure to New York in the last week of August. This was a good trip I had with my family, as we stayed in Bangladesh for about a month. I do hope to come to Bangladesh again next time so that we can go outside, visit shopping malls, and see my Bangladeshi family. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.